Hello everyone! In this video, I'm going to teach you how to use Camtasia 3 to spice up your online lectures a bit for your students as they learn from home. I've provided a link in the description of this video for you to download a free trial of the Camtasia 3 software. I'd recommend pausing the video here and download and install the free trial of the software so you can experiment with the program and learn as we go along. I do want to add a quick note though. If you use the free trial to create content, I'm about 99% sure that Camtasia watermarks the content until you actually buy a license. I can't remember off the top of my head whether the watermark is obtrusive or not, so I just wanted to make you aware of that before we proceed. Okay, once you download the software and launch the program, you'll see this prompt here, and just select New Project. And then we're up and running. So I'm going to be doing this tutorial from a Mac, and I don't think that there are many differences between the Mac and the Windows versions of Camtasia 3, besides the hotkeys, but I'm not going to be going into those in this video, so it really shouldn't affect you learning the basics of the program. Camtasia has four main components: post-production effects, the media bin, the preview screen, and the timeline. I'm going to try to cover the basics of each of these features briefly without belaboring the point too much. First, we have all the different post-production effects. This is where all the cool editing features are, and I'll show you some of these in more detail once we've made some content. Second, this is the media bin, and this is where you're going to upload your lecture presentation and any other content that you'd like to use. Third, this is the preview screen. This displays a preview of the video along with all of the different editing features you've added. Lastly, this is your video's timeline, and this is where all of the magic happens. In this video, I'll demonstrate the key features of the timeline which you will use to build your video. So let me show you how I transform one of my lecture presentations into an online video. First, record your audio. I prefer to record my audio first so that I can use the recording timeline as a guide for where each of the slide images need to go. Generally, I'll write a short transcript in the notes section of the PowerPoint so I don't ramble on too much. When you're ready to record, hit the red record button in the top left of the screen. Here, you'll see several different options for recording. If you'd like to record your screen, you can do so here. Additionally, if you have multiple monitors, you can select which one you'd like to record. If you'd like to use your device's webcam, you can select this button. Here you can select between an external microphone or use your system's built-in microphone. And finally, in this box, you can select whether you want to record the system audio or not. But for my videos, I usually just record the microphone. Once you've got everything set, just hit record. After you've recorded your audio, it will show here in the media bin. Let's start by dragging the audio down from the media bin and drop it on track 1. Here's the audio I've just recorded for this video here. Notice how our audio icon spans across the timeline. If we look here, we can see that we have 5 minutes and 31 seconds of recording. Hit the play button here to listen and clean up your audio. What I really like about Camtasia is that if you mess up a lot like I do, you can simply edit out those errors. That way you don't have to worry about making flawless audio recordings. For instance, I have an error here. When you're ready to record, hit the red record button in the top left of the screen. You can hit spacebar as a shortcut to play and pause your timeline. So we're going to put the playhead over here to where the error begins. We're going to zoom in using this magnifying glass button here. Put this over a little bit. We're going to click on the red slider, slide it over to encompass the entire error, and we can hit play. Again, we can hit the space bar now to make sure that we've got the entire error. When you're ready to record, hit the red record. So I messed up there. We're just going to right click on this blue shaded area and ripple delete range. And now you can see that error is gone. And then we can play. When you're ready to record, hit the red record button in the top left of the screen. Bingo! So now we've successfully deleted that error. You can zoom back out, and I recommend listening to the whole recording and going through and deleting errors as necessary. Also, I like to have long pauses in between slides just to recollect my thoughts. So you can just ripple delete all of these long pauses that you have, like so, within your video. You can also add markers to the timeline so you know where to add new content. For instance, if I start talking about slide 2 over here, I can position the playhead to where the transition begins, and I can hit add marker to timeline. And now I can go through the entire length of the audio, and I can denote to myself where I would like to add these markers. So here I'm just, assuming that these are where my transitions need to go. And to make things even simpler, I can click on the marker here and I could say, okay, this is where slide 4 needs to go. This is where slide 3 needs to go. And you get the general idea. So after you've edited the audio and you've taken out your errors and you've deleted the long pauses and you've denoted with markers where each of your slide content needs to go, then you're ready to import your slides. Now, the only thing you need to do is convert your lecture slides into a set of images so that they can be read by Camtasia. So like most, I use PowerPoint for my lectures. And all we're going to do is click File, Export, and Save as a JPEG. And make sure that the dimensions are set to the screen width and height for Camtasia, which is 1280 by 720. Create a new folder on your desktop to keep the images organized, and then you're done. Now we're just going to come over to Camtasia, hit the Media Import button here, denoted by the plus sign, and select our images. Now you're ready to build the actual video. Okay, so now I've got my slides imported. I have made all of my edits to the audio. You can zoom in. See, I make quite a lot of errors, and these are also deleting pauses and things like that. But now we can just go ahead and drag and drop the content right onto our timeline. So here you'll notice this is the slide that I began the video with. So we're just dragging this down to track 2 to lay on top of the video. And I'm going to drag that all the way to my second marker, which lets me know that's where new content begins. So let's turn the markers on so we can see them. Zoom in a little bit. And we're just going to drag the image. So I just accidentally added a marker there. So we're just going to drag this until we get to the point where we add our second bit of content. So I actually found an image online of what the watermark looks like. So this is in my downloads folder. So I can actually just take this image and drag it over here and drag it right here. And now we can put the playhead over here. So here's an example of what the watermark looks like when you use the trial version of Camtasia. We can click on the image and expand it. That way it takes up more of the screen and it's not this little image just floating in the center of the video. And basically you're gonna do this. You're gonna add your content onto the timeline to sit on top of the audio, and then drag it as much as you like to fit to where it needs to go on the playhead. So I'm going to take a minute to drag all of the content down onto the timeline and line it up with my audio. And then when we come back, I'll show you how to do just a few cool things with post-production. Okay, so now I've got all of my content added to my video. We can zoom out and we can see the project in its entirety. We can slide all the way over, zoom out a little bit, and then this is my whole project. So you can see the audio is down here on track 1, and then I have added all of the content that I want to play on track 2. Now, if you wanted to download some royalty-free music off of YouTube, you could highlight all of this content here, move it up a track, and then down here, you could add in, you could just drag and drop your audio, and then you could have some background music playing throughout the video. But the point is, you could technically stop here, and you could export your video, and that's share, and then save as a local file, and that saves your project as an MP4. And then you could be done. But I think the best part of Camtasia are all of these post-production features here. And I think this is really critical when you're teaching online. We know that our students have short attention spans, and it's going to be really easy for them to zone out if all you're doing is recording a voiceover on a slide and you're staying on the same slide for 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. It's really easy for those students to zone out. So the more kind of interactive content that you can add onto your video, just keep the screen moving. When I originally learned how to create these videos with my institution's Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, they told me that you want to have something happen. You want to have some type of movement on the screen every 30 seconds at least, because the longer that the screen just stays still, the more likely it is that people are just going to zone out and stop paying attention. Kind of like I've just done now. I've kind of talked, this is about as far as I can go without having any movement on the screen. So I just want to draw your attention to a few things here. So I just want to share with you a few of my go-to post-production tools that I will use in my videos. The first one is transitions. So this is the type of effect that you can play to have transitions between each of your slides. So you can do this little flip effect here. You can do, I don't know, these cube rotates, these really silly ones. You can just let your personality shine. Use whichever ones that you like the most. I like to use the fade through black transitions just because I think they're really clean and smooth. So all you do is you drag and then you'll drop it on top of, the two images that you're transitioning between. So I have the system audio turned off, so you're not going to hear anything on this recording, but I'm going to position the playhead right before the transition and watch what happens. So that's a really nice seamless transition between the images that I think just, kind of classes up the presentation a little bit. So we can just take this, drag and drop, I think this will look good on all of them. I've made some videos in here. I've done some screen recordings of myself throughout this video. And let's just drag. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this, but I'm just going to do it this way. The other thing that I really like are these annotations. So there's an example somewhere. I have a marker to highlight it. Right. Okay. So earlier in the video, I accidentally added a marker when I didn't mean to. And I didn't really explain that what I did is that I hit Command Z to undo that change. So that is a hotkey that you can use. It's Control Z on a Windows, but it's Command Z on a Mac. So really, if I wanted to kind of clarify that, I can drag this down a little bit, and I'm going to drag an annotation over here. So I'm just going to drag it onto the playhead right here, and I'm just going to type in here. And really, like, you can do anything that you want here. You can change the color of the bubble. Oh my God, that's awful to look at. Let's bring that down a little bit. Okay. I can resize it. I can move this little thing over here to show you what it is I'm doing. And then we can play and see what happens. And cool. So that's going to pop up right up for the user when they're watching the video. I don't like things to just like pop on screen. I find that kind of disorienting. So we can also take this transition, the fade through black, but actually we're going to use fade because it looks better. So we're just going to take fade and drag it right onto the center of the image here. So it's going to pop up here and it's going to pop up here. And now watch how much smoother that transition looks like when we watch. Presto. So I think that that's really nice. And you can do that with anything, right? So you can see there's lots of different options, lots of different things to use. I also like to go to the very end of my videos. I like to drag some text right at the end. I drag it out a little bit depending on, oh, see, I just keep adding these markers, don't I? Okay, so I like to drag, let's get rid of that marker. Drag this out, click on it. You can say, thanks for watching. Drag this out a little bit over here. And we can even add a fun little behavior onto this text to make it bounce around and do cute stuff. I mean, really, you can, I can't emphasize this enough. I can't emphasize this enough. You can do whatever you want to these videos. And my students really appreciate it. I've got a lot of really positive feedback from my students that say, you know, we really appreciate the time you put into creating this content and, like, you know, trying to keep our attention throughout the video. So I think it resonates well with students. So we can watch this effect. So, pretty cute, right? And then it falls out. I made it way too long. Here you go. Now I'm winging it now, so now the video is unnecessarily long and rambly, and then it falls out. Right, it's super cute. I love this stuff. All right, what is the last thing I want to show you? I really like animations. I use a lot of graphs and things in my videos, and sometimes I want to call specific attention to like a really fine point on the graph, and I want to zoom in to the image. So let me find a good example of where I want to do that. Okay, so here's an example right at the beginning of the video. So here I say what you're going to want to do is click on new project. So I can take an animation, I can take scale up, and I'm just going to drag that right onto the image here. And you notice how the playhead just popped right over to this little point right here. That's telling me what the image should look like after the animation has played. So I can make this image really big, drag it out. So what it's going to do is the screen is going to zoom in to this area here. So let's just reset the playhead back a little. And that is my animation. So we can hit spacebar for play. And it zooms in. Now what I'm really trying to call your attention to here is this new project icon or link that you need to click. So another one that I love to use is annotations and highlights. So I can drag this highlight here, which will black out everything that I don't want you to pay attention to. This is really helpful for online classes because sometimes you'll have a lot of text on a slide and you just want to call your students' attention to like one specific thing that's written on that slide. Again, let's add a fade transition to that so it doesn't just highlight out of nowhere. And then let's get rid of the marker for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to click on this little highlight. So this is the box on the preview that's asking what exactly do you want to highlight. So I'm going to drag it over here. And I'm going to drag this little corner over here. So I'm calling your attention to this area of the screen. That's what I want you to click when you start the video. So let's watch the whole thing from the beginning. Perfect. That's exactly what I want it to do. I'm going to add a few more of these. I think I've already spoken for too long. I hate these tutorial videos that go on unnecessarily long. But by the time I'm done, I guess you'll have already watched the video with all of the edits that I've made on it. So anyway, I hope that that was helpful. And that if you use Camtasia to create online lectures for your students, I hope you enjoy it. I'm sure that they will too. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to take you through other features. There's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do with visual effects, audio effects. I mean, just tons of really cool features in here. So I hope you enjoy the free trial, play around with it. Let me know if you'd like me to make any other videos for any other type of content to make for your online lectures. And yeah, so now we're gonna scroll to the end and I'm gonna say thanks for watching. Okay.